Tell him, Ant.
Of all the introductions I just gave, I missed the most notable one. Now joined by NBA analyst extraordinaire but terrible betting insider, Slick Rick Bucher. Hey,
that
true
is
story.
An unfair shot.
Terrible. Slick is a savant, an absolute basketball genius. This man to my left. Shady will tell you he knows everything there is to know about the game of basketball.
Right,
Shady bypasses me to talk to this man, Rick Bucher, when talking about basketball.
That's right. Yes,
I called Rick yesterday before needing advice on different sorts of bets and all these types of things. And Rick, once again, gave me terrible. Terrible.
We missed on one. We missed on one part. You will note that Shady does not come to me for gambling advice.
Slick, let me come to you for basketball advice. James, coming to you, Shady, starting with you. How much blame do you put on this man they call Ant-Man Anthony Edwards in a must-win game, now down 3-1 to go to the NBA Finals? How much blame you put on Ant-Man?
Shady?
Yes, sir.
Small amount. The small amount is just because you are the superstar. The T-Wolves are you.
Yes,
right?
sir.
I think when you think about T-Wolves, you think about Ant-Man for sure first. But if you really watch the game, you know, he wasn't as effective offensively, and they had a great game plan for him, first of all. And then I was thinking about, man, you look at all the different defensive game plans for all the superstars, Halliburton, Brunson, it's phenomenal, but it's nothing like this. So first of all, you got a lot of first team or second team all defensive players on him. You got Dort on him at one period of time, right? Then you got Caruso guard him at one particular time. And then Jay Will, as well as he played offensively, he's a hell of a defender. They was guarding this guy at half court, and they was trapping him all day long, getting the ball out of his hands, forcing different turnovers, and making other players make plays. So I'm not going to fault Ant-Man for that, because you see the success that his role players had because of the attention that he was getting. And then on defense, I'm a type of player where, okay, if I can't affect the game by rushing the ball, okay, now throw me the ball, right? If I can't do that, then I'm going to block very efficiently because it's all about the team. And I thought he did play well defensively. Now, Julius Randle, I'm going to blame him because he didn't show me no effort. I watched numerous of times guys shooting 3 balls in his face. I watched him not rotating. I watched him couldn't score at all one-on-one. Now, this is swarming defense, but there's a lot of times he had one-on-ones and he couldn't score. It's like he was out there playing basketball with Timbs on and jeans on. He was moving in slow motion. So if you want to blame a superstar, go to Randle because Randle's been playing well all season, not all season, but all playoffs. He's been playing well, and he hasn't done it. So I'm not going to blame Ant-Man because I don't hate Ant-Man.
Time out.
I need time.
You need 20 seconds or you need a minute?
Give it a minute.
Okay, get your minute there.
Give me the full.
Get your full time out there.
I blame Ant-Man Edwards in its entirety. Any blame I don't give the Thunder, I give to Ant-Man.
Gotcha.
First off, the man to my right is a superstar. LeSean McCoy, for those that are unfamiliar, though I assume you're very familiar. He's a superstar. Eagles Hall of Famer. I went to the induction where they put his jersey in the Raptors to forever live there. Superstar. No superstars well. But with great responsibility and praise and all of these things comes the necessary performance that I haven't seen from Anthony Edwards. What I love about my relationship to basketball at this junction in time, because we do a daily sports show and we primarily focus on football during football season, I'm not so far into the forest that I can't see the trees. Some basketball players and basketball experts, they're so stuck in their opinions that they're not far enough away from an object that they can actually see it. I am with Anthony Edwards. I have no bias. I don't care if he plays well. I don't care if he plays bad. I'm just a sports fan. When I watch him, I don't see enough. I don't see the man that Shady McCoy is describing. Anthony Edwards did not take a shot, attempt a shot until less than a minute in the first quarter. Less than a minute in the first quarter. Didn't even attempt one. Didn't even attempt a shot. And you're supposed to be a superstar? In whose world? Based on what category? You're supposed to be a superstar. You don't even attempt a shot, so I thought this. Because yesterday, Shady said, hey, Acho, think about this, though, bro. When they're not shooting, they're still impacting the game. I said, he's right. But then I looked and I said, wait a second. Shea got 40. So how much of an impact defensively is Ant-Man making? At the point in which Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is scoring playoff career highs in that game. The Thunder are scoring 128 points as a team offensively. So how much of an impact defensively is this Ant-Man making? Because Shea, on the other end, is scoring 40 points. Not that Ant-Man is always the primary defender, but if you ain't going to score more than 20 points offensively, at least hold their best player to under 25 points. But Shea's scoring 40. You're scoring 16. Okay, maybe Rick this. Maybe Ant dropped 20 assists. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he wasn't scoring, viewers, and as a result, everybody else was scoring. But that's not the case. Because Ant-Man didn't even have double-digit dimes. Maybe he had 25 rebounds. Maybe that was it. That's not the case, because he only had about 4 of them. So if the dude got 6 dimes, and the dude got 4 boards, and the dude got 16 points, but he's a superstar? Superstar? So the reason I'm putting it on Ant-Man, because as shady as a defendant for his superstars, and as he should be, the man to my right, as I have suggested, is a superstar. Ant-Man, I got to see it. Yeah. I got to see it.
When you watch the game, right?
Of course.
So
lost money on it.
What would you have liked him to do differently?
Be much more aggressive from the start.
But where though?
Shoot. There were opportunities to take shots.
But I'll say, explain that, because I don't know. When I watched, they was swarming him every time he got the rock, right? And you talk about making the right play. I feel like he made the right play every time. See, it's one thing to say to go out there and score, but it's like, how? Rick can tell you when he goes, he's going to tell you the way they was game playing for him and taking him out the game, it's hard for him to have clear shots. But we're on the other side. SGA, they was letting him play one-on-one, and they was helping out in the lanes. They wasn't rushing him until late in the game.
There have been greater players, in my estimation, there have been greater players with greater game plans than Anthony Edwards has faced. And those greater players who have seen greater game plans have put up a shot more than 1 minute into the first quarter. Now, I also suggest Ant-Man. You're on a team with Julius Randle. With all due respect, he's too slow to create his own shot, especially against this defense. You're on a team with Rudy Gobert. He's not doing anything offensively. You're on a team with Mike Conley. This is the starting lineup, viewers at home. And you're on a team with McDaniels. By the grace of God, he's putting up 20 points a game, but he only averages 12 points a game. The best shot is the shot you take at this junction in time. With the game on the line, the career on the line, the season on the line, the career of the season, that is, the best shot, with all due respect, Ant-Man, it might be to pull up 3. It might be going to the cup, drawing 2, and then throwing an oop to Gobert. That might be the best shot.
Let me say this. First off, I give none of this to Ant-Man.
None.
I don't give none of it to Ant-Man.
16 points and none.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
None.
And I'm about to break it down to you, right? So I was a really good role player, right? Starter, really good role player. But I had number 1 receivers on my team that got the double teams.
Okay.
And in those games, Aaron Rodgers would be like, bruh, you got to win to get the double team off of Greg Jennings. If you don't win, the double team going to be on G all game long. That ain't fair to G. So you win your one-on-one battles. I stood up here, didn't stand. I sat up here and I heard Slick and Acho say, the best player in the playoffs this whole time, Julius Randle. He's this, he's that, the best. Y'all told me that. Y'all told me that. Last time I checked, he's an all-star too. He's an all-star.
Yes, not a superstar, for clarity.
He's an all-star. Like when they go to the all-star break, he was in that game.
Yes, sir. Not to be confused with superstar.
He's an all-star. Y'all told me this is the best player. So when I need you to help me get the double team off of me, you're nowhere to be found, sir. I don't know if y'all watched the game. Did you see Lou Dort? All right, Lou Dort played the way I tell my kids to play, right? Because in this AAU circuit, all these parents think their kids is like that and all that, and they not, right? But we got a superstar on our little AAU team too, the Gremlins too, right? And we travel Nike circuits, Adidas circuits, all
Gremlins,
that.
I like
right?
that.
So I tell my kids, as they playing, you ain't got no fouls. This is me as a dad on the you ain't got no, which let them know, go harder. Yeah. And you better start playing some defense. Lou Dort used all of his fouls. He was picking Anthony Edwards up full court, playing defense, double teaming him right off the screen, get the ball up, help me, Anthony Randle. Another thing,
you saw a double team
I'm different from them other parents. I'll yell to the coach, take him out. He ain't helping. And my wife would be like, do that to him. He ain't helping. And I ain't worried about you. He ain't helping. Get him out, coach. And all the parents know that, too. I don't care how much money we pay. You ain't helping. Get out. Julius Randle, you was on the bench, dog. In a must-win game at the crib, you was on the bench. And we blaming Anthony Edwards, who they sending 2 and 3 bodies at. Acho, if Anthony Edwards was cranking threes up or going through triple teams and all that, you know what you would have came up here and said? Make the right play, Anthony Edwards. You forcing shots. He would have. Yes, you would have.
Has Steph Curry never seen a double team? Has LeBron never seen a double team? Has Kawhi never seen a double team?
And they probably gave the ball up.
Has Kobe never seen a double team? Has SGA never seen a double team? Has Joker never seen a double team? Has Jalen Brunson never seen a double team?
And what do? They probably get a ball up.
He saw a double team. What's he going to do? I saw a double team.
They coaches put him in a situation to win. That's what they do. Go ahead, Slick.
All right.
Unless you go do your thing.
First of all, saying that Julius Randle was their best player through the playoffs to this point, not the best player in the playoffs, but the best player for the Minnesota Timberwolves through the playoffs.
That's what y'all said.
Is an indictment of Anthony Edwards. because he is their best all-around player. Julius Randle shouldn't be their best player. He has been. Wanted to clear that up.
Thank you, sir.
Is Anthony Edwards the Minnesota Timberwolves' best player?
Absolutely.
Of course.
He did not set the tone. All right? He's the only guy who played 12 minutes in the first quarter for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He took one shot. Took it what, in the last minute?
Last minute.
One shot. Took exactly one shot. He did not lead. All right? He wasn't aggressive throughout the game, setting the tone. And then he did not close. He took 6 shots in the fourth quarter to make 6 points. There were guys off the bench who did more. And Shady, you're right. Like, you're both right in terms of
Who's both?
what the expectation is.
Both?
What's that?
You said you're both right. Who?
You and Acho are both right.
Oh, he's right? Okay.
Yeah. Because what we're seeing is that Ant doesn't have the game to be able to do what we expect him to do with the talent that he has. And the number one thing, the worst thing that has happened to Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves is that Anthony Edwards decided, I want to be like Steph Curry. And he put all of his emphasis on, I'm going to shoot the 3. I'm going to develop the 3. And he did it at the cost of his mid-range. Because that's the problem that we're seeing here, is that the only time he can operate, he didn't develop Steph's off-the-ball movement, because Steph gets locked up by Lou Dort and all these guys, and somehow he still ends up getting the ball and making magic. The only time Ant can really operate is when you get him the ball at the top of the key, and now you have a set defense in front of him. And he's told us that Dante DiVincenzo is the one who tells him what the defense is doing. Like, if he's going to be your best player, if he's going to be your driving force, he has to be able to diagnose that himself. And he's not capable of that at this point. And so we're asking him to do some things that he cannot do. And I want you to, because Alexander gets the same attention defensively. But the reason that he's able to operate is because, look, can I see the mid-range difference here? This is the difference between the two of them operating from the mid-range. And that bottom thing is probably the most important. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes almost 6 shots a game from the mid-range. Ant takes 1. He has no mid-range game. And when you get to the playoffs, that's where you operate, because they're going to run you off the 3. Yep. They're not going to let you finish at the rim. So how well you operate in the mid-range then gets the defense to collapse, and now it opens it up for everybody else. And Ant he took more shots from the mid-range last season than he did this season. Okay. He's abandoned that in order to become a three-point shooter. You know what? If I'm the opposition, I want Ant operating from three-point range. Because now all I'm dealing is he making them or is he missing them? But if he's getting into the middle, now I got to worry about my defense reacting to him.
Let me bounce back real quick, James Jones, because they're going to make me work today. I thought today I was under the weather, so I wanted to kind of chill.
That's why we turned down the temperature.
You know, when we're a team, I just kind of screw, but now I got to work today. I'm cool. I like that, though. See, I do this basketball thing, too, though. Okay, so we blame everything on Ant-Man, right? And you guys say he didn't play well and all this and that. Cool. So let's just go to these superstars, right? Because in basketball, we care about the superstar. That's what makes the team roll.
Sir.
Nobody's winning without no superstars. Of course. And Ant-Man's a superstar, right?
You know, this is coming off as whataboutism. Because we're not talking about Ant now. We're talking about...
No, I'm going to get to it now real quick. And then before I get to that, you said something about the mid-range, right? I'm sorry, because the last 7-8 years, we don't even talk about mid-range. That's a bad shot nowadays. But I guess because my man SGA's doing it, we're going to love the mid-range. Cool. LeBron James. As great as LeBron James is, I watched when this time he didn't carry this squad. Wade used to step up. And then LeBron carried him late. Steph Curry's my favorite player because you brought Steph Curry in there, right? I've watched games, right, where we're down in Houston, and Steph can't get no buckets. Everybody guarding him up. You know who carried the load for him, though? Klay Thompson. Couple of times. OKC, they elimination. Steph couldn't do nothing, nowhere. Covered, blanket. Deion Sanders coverage. You know who carried him? Klay Thompson. Then once the role player, Klay was rolling, then Steph came about. And you see him in the fourth quarter take over games. Should we keep going here? Luka and Kyrie, though. As much as we're going to talk about Luka so great, there was times when he couldn't get buckets. And who was carrying him? Kyrie Irving, helping out. JT and JB, we watched it last year. Let's go to the champs. I don't want to go too far. Steph Curry might be too far for y'all. Let's just go last year. Last year in the finals, right? That whole run, Eastern Conference Finals, all right to the real finals, right? We talked about how JT's a superstar, but in the playoffs, he was lacking a little bit. You know, stepped up with him, James Jones? JB. He stepped up so well. You know what he got? Eastern Conference MVP and Finals MVP. So as much as you want to blame Ant-Man, when we a team and you got a superstar A and superstar B, we do this thing together.
I'm looking at two guys who stepped up. Jaden McDaniels,
Talk about it.
22 points.
Yes, sir.
9 for 15.
Talk about
Dante
the
DiVincenzo, 7 for 11.
A lot of wide open threes.
You talking about role players. You talking about role players. I'm talking about my A superstar and my B superstar.
No. You want to
Who gets all the attention.
That's not
fair.
correct.
What do you mean? Huh?
You can't pick and choose where it comes
What do you
from.
mean?
You can't pick and choose where it comes from.
What was the score last night? 128 to 126.
Here's what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna break it down.
Let you go.
No, well, he asked me a question. I got to answer.
Fine, go.
So 128 to 126. Yeah. So you're talking about some role players? Yes, you need role players to play well. Yes, but what makes the factor why guys make so much money and it's a different salary for different people is because I need my superstar to do his thing, and I need my superstar B to do his thing. That's how it works.
But what are you
talking about?
Here's what I think what you're saying is unfair. You need the superstar to do his thing, and he needs help. Mm-hmm. Where that help comes from is to some degree irrelevant. It came from Jordan Poole in 2022. Jordan Poole was here today and gone tomorrow with the Warriors. It didn't come from Klay Thompson. It didn't come from Draymond.
It came from Wiggins.
It came from Jordan Poole in the first round.
Too.
And then it came from Wiggins when they got to the finals against the Celtics. But to your point, it came from a variety of places. We didn't say, dang, Wiggins, where you at in the first round? We didn't say, dang, Poole, where you at in the last round? We just said, thank God Steph Curry has help. Also, in regards to Jason Tatum last year in the NBA Finals, you're right, but we killed him for that. What we say about Jason Tatum, is he the best player on his team? Is Jason Tatum even worthy of being a superstar? Jason Tatum can't be the next face of the league. Exactly right.
I don't care about that.
But I'm saying we all criticize Jason Tatum. So I can't come up here and now and say that Anthony Edwards is without blame.
So
that's
really,
all I'm saying. I can't say he's without blame.
So really quick, Slick, though, because we all watched the game yesterday. And it was a lot of buckets made by OKC. And their second superstar had 30 plus too.
Come on now.
So every single time, really, to be honest with you, down the basketball court, they made the shot and they was able to set their defense up. So if you're Anthony Edwards and you coming down the basketball court, what are you going to do? What do you want Anthony Edwards to do offensively? Their defense is set up. It ain't like it was a bunch of fast breaks and he could come down the court and attack the basket, because it wasn't a lot of that, because they made a lot of shots. So they were able to get their defense set up. You've seen the game plan. What did you want Anthony Edwards to do? 4 shots?
I wanted him to be more aggressive.
But I'm
Because
saying,
his
it's like
ability,
you coming off.
how was the defense dramatically different in this game versus the previous game?
I was double
you did have more missed shots, and they were able to get out faster. But Anthony, I think you guys are underselling Anthony Edwards' capability.
That's where I'm.
Like his ability to
good
take
for
people
this.
off the dribble and to split double teams. He's demonstrated that he can do that.
He did, Slick. But I think they tired him out. You got 3 all defense of NBA type players on him. All defense NBA players on him. Dort, you had Caruso, and then you had Jalen Williams. Okay, hold on. Them 3 was guarding. Taking turns on him, right? When one's tired, okay, I got him next time. And then, did you see how they was swarming him? They was swarming the whole game. So my thing, real quick, if I feel like in all sports, you can take whoever you want out the game. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if you take Ant-Man out the game, right, with the defense strategy, now we need Randall to take over. The same thing, even if SGA, the times when SGA did go to the bench, Jay Will was carrying them boys.
It's not that I even, truth be told, here's what it is for me. It's not even that I disagree with Shady or disagree with James. That's truly not it. What it is for me is I just want to stop talking about Ant-Man as if he has already arrived to be some prodigy. That is it. Like, if we want to talk about Ant-Man in 2 years, fine. But Shady's, if you want to say Ant-Man didn't need to do that much or did all he could, or the 16 points, the 4 rebounds, and the 6 assists, if y'all want to say that was enough, fine. But at the point in which we keep hearing, he reminds me of Jordan. Oh, he looked like a Jordan. He might be them jokes about, is he one of Jordan's? At the point in which you're talking about Ant-Man as Jordan in the face of the league, I'm just stop. Just stop. I'll agree with what you're saying, James. I'll agree with what Shady said.
You know what's coming up.
Sure, but then let's talk about it when it gets there.
So really quick, though.
So
really quick, because the young fella, 22, 23 years old.
Young.
He done been to back-to-back Western Conference championship.
All NBA.
A lot of us wasn't picking him to get there this year. He helped get his team there. If y'all want to say Julius Randle's segment. My thing is though, like, what do we want from Ant-Man? Because we come up here and we say Ant-Man got to see the court better. He got to make everybody around him better. And then now we're saying he got to split double teams and do, like, what's the play, though, Slick?
The play, that's the question for Anthony Edwards. Because Anthony Edwards gets the same attention that all these other players that we put him in a category.
I know, but some of these players is different, though. Steph
How are
Curry
they
running
different?
off 100 screens and all that. It's not like he, like, super ball. You know, they're different players. Ant is bringing this ball down the court. It's easy to have him give the ball up.
There is nothing that Steph Curry does or has learned about how to breaking down defenses that Anthony Edwards can't. It's not a physical thing. It's a mental thing of understanding where I need to go and how I get free and how I draw fouls like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He should be going to the free throw line in the same way. All of those things are learned. And that's why at 23 years old and with all the talent that he has, I'm not saying that he can't be that, but when I watch him play, his game is a very simple game, and it needs to be more complex. He needs to understand how to think his way. When you're setting the tone, when you come out and you're playing this game, and you only take one shot in the first quarter, and your team is down by 7, your team comes out slow, and you're the best player, I need you to be aggressive. I need you getting to the free throw line. You don't know how to get to the free throw line? They're trapping the ball out of your hands? You need to learn how to break that, which means you need to be able to play in the middle of the floor. He can't play in the middle of the floor. There are limitations to Anthony Edwards' game from a mental standpoint. I hate to say it. He just plays a really young game.
And he's 23.
And as a result, the Minnesota Timberwolves play a really young game. They're going to go as their best player goes.
I agree.
Right? And that's where he takes them. And so he's just not there yet. And that's my biggest issue, because I think this is what's unfair, is we're already crowning him as a certain type of player. But he's not there yet. And if we do that, then what's his motivation to complete the circle?
So I just think that, like, all the things that Slick said is right, that maybe he's learned that part of the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Steph Curry, we keep talking about him, my favorite player, but it took him.
He had to learn how to do it.
Okay, so
no question.
But the difference is, it took him, 27 was his first year he won his title? Yeah. Took some time, right? Yeah. LeBron took some time. But the thing with Ant-Man I love is that everything you want to check your box for your superstar, he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's 23 years old. He's in back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Yep. All NBAs and all that. So, yes, maybe he is young and he has to learn some things. I'm not disputing that. But I will say is he's on the right path.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he has arrived. There's a lot of guys that at 23 would love to have his resume at 23.
No. Now you're being because Ant can be so much more than that. If you look at his pure talent,
listen, man.
He's just doing it on talent. I don't want to shortchange him. I don't want to say he's arrived, because he's not maximizing what he's capable of.
His career ain't done tomorrow. You tell me at 23, hold up, because we talking about the greatest elite level of competition is NBA. Mm-hmm. All around the world, they come over here and they play, right? Mm-hmm. At 23 years old, the brother is all NBAs, right? All-star appearances. He took his team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who we didn't think much of, back-to-back to Western Conference Finals, and we acting like that ain't good?
No, he just said he hasn't arrived. You said he hasn't arrived.
I don't
I'm
know.
not saying that's not good. It's great.
So what's arrived then? Winning the championship? It's only a couple of them guys doing that.
But he's going to do it.
But Luka's arrived too, though, right?
No, Luka hasn't. What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.